All right, let's dive into some advanced English idioms today. If you're listening to this, you're probably looking to seriously level up your English speaking, and we've got some great stuff to share with you today.
Absolutely.
We're going through this script. It's from another English idiom podcast, and it's got 19 of them. We're going to go through each one and really just dissect it, and by the end of this, you'll be sounding so natural, so native.
Like you were born speaking English.
Exactly, yeah. So the first one that I thought was interesting was play devil's advocate. I don't know, just that concept of playing devil's advocate, it seems kind of, I don't know, contradictory almost.
Yeah, well, it's about being deliberately taking a position you don't necessarily agree with just to kind of stimulate conversation.
Yeah.
And explore all sides of an issue.
It's like a mental exercise almost, right?
Yeah.
Like a pre-mortem for an idea.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it.
So you're trying to find the weaknesses before they become real problems.
Exactly, yeah.
Okay, cool. So how about this one? This one I've definitely run into before, the elephant in the room.
Oh, yeah.
This one is pretty common. I feel like most people know this one, but I think it's worth exploring.
Yeah, it's a good one. You know, that refers to that obvious problem that everyone's trying to ignore.
Right, and it's so awkward too, right? It's like everybody can feel it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like when you walk into a room and you just feel like something's off.
Yeah.
But nobody's saying anything.
Exactly, it's palpable.
Yeah, so awkward.
Yeah.
Okay, this is an important one in today's world.
Yes.
Take with a grain of salt. I feel like with so much information out there, and especially online, it's hard to know what to believe.
Yeah, that's very true.
Like you have to filter things, you have to consider the source, you have to look for bias, all of that.
You really do, yeah.
Yeah.
It's a very discerning approach to taking in information, you know. It's recognizing that not everything is as it appears.
Yeah.
Sometimes you have to question things a little bit.
I feel like the rise of sensationalized headlines and clickbait and all of that has made this idiom even more important than ever.
Absolutely, yeah, where it's designed to elicit an emotional reaction rather than, present you with the facts and let you come to a conclusion.
Right, right. So I like this one too. This one paints such a vivid picture, a flash in the pan.
That's a good one, yeah.
So this is something that bursts onto the scene. There's a lot of hype.
It has that promise.
It has that promise, yeah.
And then disappears just as quickly.
Right, like those viral trends,
Oh, yeah.
where everybody's obsessed for like a week and then poof, gone.
Yeah, or that friend who, starts all these new hobbies with such passion and enthusiasm, but then, a month later they've moved on to something else.
Yeah, yeah.
Their passion for pottery was just a flash in the pan.
Right, they're chasing the next shiny object.
Exactly, yeah.
All right, so the tip of the iceberg.
Oh, this is a great one, yeah.
So this idiom really emphasizes that what you see on the surface
is not the whole story.
There's so much more going on beneath.
Exactly, there's that hidden depth.
Right.
The complexity that's not immediately apparent.
It's like that saying, there's more to this story than meets the eye, right?
Exactly.
Makes me think of those true crime documentaries where they start with like a seemingly simple case, and then as they kind of unravel these different layers, it just gets more and more intricate.
Yeah, the more you peel back, the more you realize how much more there is.
Oh, right.
Yeah.
Wow, this is fascinating stuff. All right, well, I think we need to take a break here. We've already covered some really, really powerful idioms.
We have, yeah.
But don't worry, we've got plenty more to unpack, so we'll be right back after a quick break to dive even deeper.
Sounds good.
All right, let's jump back into these advanced English idioms. We've got a lot more to cover.
We do.
Okay, so how about this one? Cut someone some slack. This is all about being understanding, right?
Yeah. Everyone makes mistakes and everyone's going through stuff, so it's about giving people the benefit of the doubt.
Yeah, like we don't always know what's going on in somebody's life.
Right.
So we should try to be understanding and give them a little bit of grace.
Exactly.
Okay, how about this one? This one sounds a little bit more challenging.
It does, yeah.
Sink or swim. I feel like this idiom really captures those situations where you're just thrown into the deep end.
Yeah, no support, you're on your own. Figure it out.
Exactly. And you either rise to the occasion or you sink.
Yeah.
It's a trial by fire, kind of.
It is, yeah. It can be a little harsh, but it can also be a good learning experience.
Yeah, like those entrepreneurs who launch their own businesses with no prior experience.
Oh, absolutely.
Talk about a sink or swim situation.
Oh, yeah. They really have to adapt quickly.
They have to learn on the fly.
Yeah.
Develop that resilience, that grit.
Yeah.
I like this one. A hard pill to swallow. This idiom always makes me think of those moments where you just have to accept a difficult truth.
Yeah, and it's not easy.
It's not easy.
It's a moment of realization, that kind of gut punch where you realize things have changed.
You can't ignore it anymore.
Yeah.
It's like ripping off a Band-Aid.
It stings at first,
Yeah.
but then you can start to heal.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay, here's one that I think a lot of people can relate to. Hit the ceiling.
Oh, yeah, this is a good one.
I can especially see this one being used in those high-pressure work environments, like when that big project goes off the rails and everyone's stressed out trying to fix things.
Or someone makes a careless mistake.
Oh, yeah.
That costs the company a lot of money. Someone might hit the ceiling.
That boss is going to hit the ceiling for sure.
Definitely.
Yeah. Okay, this idiom evokes a sense of calm for me.
It does, yeah.
Water under the bridge. I really like the imagery of this one. You know, like those past conflicts or problems, they're just gone. They're irrelevant now.
Yeah, let go of the grudges.
Focus on the present.
Move on.
Exactly. Like, hey, we messed up, we argued, but let's not let that define our relationship moving forward.
Yeah, exactly. It's in the past now.
It's water under the bridge.
Yeah.
Okay, jump ship. This one sounds a little bit more, I don't know, like you're running away from something.
It does, yeah. A little bit avoidant, maybe.
Avoidant, yeah.
It's about making a quick exit.
Like abandoning a sinking ship.
Exactly. Sometimes it's necessary.
Yeah.
Like if you're in a toxic work environment or a relationship that's no longer serving you, sometimes you have to jump ship.
Sometimes you got to jump ship.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, keep your cards close to your chest.
Ooh, this is a good one.
This one sounds like something you'd hear in a spy movie or something.
It does. A little bit of mystery.
A little bit of mystery, a little bit of strategy.
Strategy, definitely.
Don't want to reveal your plans too early.
Exactly. Got to maintain that element of surprise.
Keep them guessing. It makes me think of those poker games where everybody's trying to read each other.
Oh, yeah. High stakes.
High stakes, yeah. Figure out who's bluffing, who's got the winning hand.
Absolutely.
All about strategy.
Yeah.
Man, we've covered some really interesting idioms today.
We have.
I feel like I've learned a lot, but I'm a little intimidated to start using them. I don't know. They seem kind of advanced.
Yeah, well, I think the key is practice and exposure. Think of it like learning a new dance move. You're not just going to jump onto the dance floor and just nail it perfectly the first time. You have to practice.
Right.
Watch others. Gradually build up your confidence.
Yeah, so maybe I should start paying closer attention to how these idioms are used in, like, movies, TV shows, even just in casual conversations.
Yeah, train your ear to recognize them and understand the subtle ways that they're used to convey meaning. Don't be afraid to make mistakes.
Right.
That's how we learn.
Maybe I'll try using them with my friends first,
Oh, yeah, that's a great idea. Low stakes.
Yeah.
Test run.
Yeah.
Your friends will probably get a kick out of it, too.
Yeah, hopefully.
But remember, context is key. You wouldn't wear a ball gown to a casual backyard barbecue.
Right.
You wouldn't use a formal idiom in a really relaxed setting.
Right.
So be mindful of the tone, the audience. Make sure the idiom fits the situation.
Like choosing the right spice, huh?
Exactly, yeah. Too much and it just overpowers the flavors. Just the right amount. You add that complexity and depth.
Yeah, I like that. All right, well, is there one idiom that you think would be good for our listeners to try using this week?
Well, given all the challenges we face in life, I think weather the storm is particularly relevant.
Oh, I like that one.
It's a good reminder that we have the strength to endure difficult times and come out stronger on the other side.
It's a great reminder.
Yeah.
So to all of our listeners out there, we challenge you to use weather the storm in a conversation this week.
You got this.
Yeah, and hopefully by using this idiom, maybe you can even inspire somebody else.
That'd be great.
That's it for this deep dive.
Yeah, it's been fun.
Hope you enjoyed it, and we'll catch you on the next one.
See you then. Okay, so have you ever totally bombed a joke?
Oh.
Because you used the wrong idiom?
Yeah.
I did just the other day. I tried to be funny with pull someone's leg, and let's just say it did not land.
Yeah.
I need to brush up on my idioms.
It happens. Idioms are tricky. They can make you sound super fluent or totally clueless,
right,
depending on how you use them.
Exactly. Which is why I have a stack of notes here all about common idioms.
Okay.
Especially for someone like you learning English. We're going to extract the most useful ones.
Right.
The kind that will really boost your everyday conversations. Ready to dive in?
Absolutely. Idioms are like secret codes to sounding like a native speaker.
Okay.
Yeah.
Let's start with idioms all about taking action.
Right.
I feel like these are essential for navigating any situation, whether it's at work with friends or even just ordering food.
Yeah.
First up, cut to the chase.
Ah, yes. Cut to the chase. No time for small talk.
Right.
You want to get straight to the point. Imagine you're watching a movie and skip ahead to the most exciting part. That's cutting to the chase.
So instead of saying something like, well, I was thinking maybe we could,
Right.
you just say, let's cut to the chase. What's the plan?
Exactly. It shows you're confident and efficient, which people always appreciate. I bet you could have used that in that meeting last week.
Oh,
That just dragged on and on.
tell me about it. We could have saved so much time.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. Okay, next up, throw in the towel.
This one is all about admitting defeat. Think of a boxer who's just not going to win.
Okay.
His coach throws in the towel to stop the fight.
Right.
Sometimes you have to recognize when a battle is lost, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So if you're working on a project and it's just not happening,
Right.
no matter how hard you try, maybe it's time to throw in the towel and focus your energy elsewhere.
It's not about giving up entirely. It's about being smart and knowing when to move on to something more productive. Have you ever been in that situation?
Definitely. I think we all have. Sometimes it's a relief to throw in the towel.
Yeah.
And admit it's just not working. Okay, last one in this taking action category.
Okay.
The ball is in your court.
This one is like a tennis match. When the ball is on your side of the net, it's your turn to hit it back. It's your responsibility to make the next move.
So let's say you and a friend are making plans.
Yeah.
And you've done all the research, found the flights, booked the hotel.
Yeah.
Now it's up to your friend to decide if they're in or out. You could say, okay, the ball is in your court. What do you think?
Exactly. You've done your part. Now it's their turn.
Okay.
Speaking of taking responsibility,
Yeah.
our next set of idioms is all about perseverance and attitude,
Yeah.
starting with face the music.
Ooh, that one sounds a little intense.
Well, it's about accepting the consequences of your actions,
Okay.
even if they're not so pleasant. Like if you made a mistake at work and now you have to explain yourself to your boss,
Oh, yeah.
no escaping it, you have to face the music.
So it's like own up to what happened and deal with it, right? No running away, no making excuses.
Exactly. It's about taking responsibility and learning from the experience.
Mm-hmm.
It can be tough, but it's an important part of growth.
Yeah.
Speaking of bouncing back from tough situations,
Okay.
the next idiom is keep your chin up.
That one seems pretty straightforward, right? Stay positive even when things get tough.
Yes, but think about it physically. Keeping your chin up literally means holding your head high.
Oh.
It's a physical reminder to stay strong and resilient,
Wow.
even when you feel like giving up.
I never thought of it like that.
Yeah,
Like your body is giving your mind a pep talk.
exactly.
Okay, last one in this set of perseverance idioms is leave no stone unturned.
This one means to be completely thorough in your search for something.
Okay.
Like a detective solving a case, they check every clue, every lead. They leave no stone unturned.
So if you have a goal you're really passionate about,
Right.
and you're willing to try every possible way to achieve it, you could say you're leaving no stone unturned.
Precisely. It's about that relentless pursuit of what you want,
Yeah.
that determination to explore every avenue. Now, speaking of pursuing something,
Okay.
let's move on to a group of idioms all about communication and understanding.
Perfect. I feel like these are key to navigating social situations,
Yeah.
especially in a new language. First up, we have read between the lines.
This one is all about understanding the hidden messages,
Okay.
the things that aren't said directly.
Uh-huh.
Imagine someone says they're fine, but their tone of voice and body language tell a different story.
Right.
You have to read between the lines to get the real message.
So it's like being a detective of emotions.
Yes.
Looking for clues beyond just the words themselves.
Exactly. It's about understanding the subtext, the context,
Yeah.
the unspoken feelings behind what's being said. This is especially important in relationships and delicate situations, wouldn't you say?
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Sometimes what's not said is just as important as what I said.
That's true.
Okay, moving on to hit the nail on the head.
This means to say something that is perfectly accurate
Okay.
and get straight to the heart of the matter. Like a carpenter hitting a nail with one perfect swing, there's no missing the mark.
So if you're giving feedback on a project and you pinpoint the exact problem that needs to be addressed,
Yeah.
you could say you hit the nail on the head.
Yes, it's about expressing yourself with clarity and precision, leaving no room for doubt. Okay, last one in this communication trio. beat around the bush.
This one seems like the opposite of cut to the chase.
Right?
Like instead of being direct, you're kind of avoiding the main point.
Exactly. Imagine you have to tell someone some bad news.
Okay.
But you don't want to hurt their feelings.
Right.
So you kind of dance around the topic instead of just coming right out and saying it.
Mm-hmm.
That's beating around the bush.
It's like you're circling around the issue without ever really addressing it directly.
Which can be frustrating for the person you're talking to.
Yeah.
Sometimes a little directness, even if it's uncomfortable, can save everyone a lot of time and misunderstanding. Now, speaking of situations that can sometimes be uncomfortable,
Okay.
our next set of idioms is all about unexpected outcomes.
Okay, this is getting interesting. I love how these idioms are all connected.
Yeah.
So what's the first one in this unexpected outcomes category?
It's jump on the bandwagon. This one captures that human tendency to follow trends,
Okay.
to join in when something becomes popular or successful.
Like when a new song comes out and suddenly everyone's listening to it.
Yeah.
Or maybe a new social media platform takes off and all your friends are using it.
Exactly. It can be harmless fun to jump on the bandwagon.
Mm-hmm.
But it's also important to think for yourself and not just follow the crowd blindly.
Right.
Wouldn't you agree?
Totally.
Yeah.
Sometimes it's good to be a little bit of contrarian.
Okay, what's next?
This one is a classic, a blessing in disguise.
Okay.
It's about those times when something that seems bad at first actually turns out to be a good thing in the long run.
Like if you lose your job, which is obviously a bummer.
But then you end up finding an even better one
Right.
that you're more passionate about.
Exactly. A blessing in disguise. It reminds us that there's often a silver lining to difficult situations, even if we can't see it at the time.
Yeah.
Have you ever had one of those blessings in disguise moments?
Oh, definitely.
Yeah.
It's amazing how often what seems like a setback
Yeah.
ends up leading to something even better.
Ah,
Okay, last one in this category.
okay.
Let sleeping dogs lie. This one always makes me think of a big lazy dog that you just don't want to disturb.
It's a perfect image. This idiom means to avoid stirring up trouble or bringing up past conflicts that are best left alone. Like if you and a friend had an argument a while back and you've both moved on,
Yeah.
it's probably best to let sleeping dogs lie and not bring it up again.
Sometimes it's just not worth rehashing old arguments,
Right.
especially if they're just going to lead to more negativity.
Yeah.
Okay, I think we have time for one more set of idioms.
Okay.
Before we wrap up this section of our deep dive. What do we got?
This last group is all about going above and beyond, putting in that extra effort to achieve something special. And I think you'll appreciate this first one, bite off more than you can chew.
Ooh, I know that feeling. Well, I'm definitely guilty of taking on too much sometimes.
It happens to the best of us. It's like taking a huge bite of food and then realizing you can't actually chew it all.
Right.
You end up feeling overwhelmed and stuck.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So it's about being realistic about your capacity and not overcommitting yourself to things you can't handle.
Exactly. It's important to know your limits and set boundaries so you don't end up feeling burnt out and discouraged.
Right.
Speaking of pushing yourself to the limit, the next idiom is burn the midnight oil.
This one makes me think of those late night study sessions.
Yeah.
Fueled by coffee and the sheer will to finish a project.
It's about working late into the night, sacrificing sleep to get something done.
Okay.
Back in the day, people would literally burn oil lamps to light their workspace when they had to work late.
So it's about dedication and that willingness to put in the extra hours, even if it means missing out on some sleep.
It's a testament to that drive and determination that often leads to success.
Right.
Okay, last one in this set, and I think it's a perfect way to wrap up this section on going above and beyond.
Right.
Go the extra mile.
I love this one.
Yeah.
It's about exceeding expectations, doing more than what's required,
Yeah.
putting in that extra effort that really makes a difference.
Exactly. Think of a marathon runner who, instead of stopping at the finish line, keeps running just a little bit further.
Wow.
It's that extra effort, that dedication to excellence that sets them apart.
Go the extra mile.
Yeah.
It's a great motto for life in general, don't you think?
Absolutely. It's about striving for excellence in everything you do and always looking for ways to exceed expectations. Now, before we move on to the next section,
Okay.
there's one idiom we wanted to revisit, one that can be a bit tricky
Okay.
and often leads to misunderstandings. You're talking about pull someone's leg, right?
Yeah. I totally fumbled that one earlier.
That's the one. It means to playfully tease someone, to joke with them, but it's all about tone and context. If you don't deliver it right, it can easily be misinterpreted.
Yeah, I think the person I was talking to thought I was actually trying to trick them, not just being silly.
Yeah.
What's the secret to using this idiom correctly?
Well, first of all, make sure you have a good rapport with the person you're joking with.
Okay.
You wouldn't want to pull someone's leg if you don't know them well.
Right.
Or if they're easily offended.
Right. You have to read the room and make sure it's appropriate.
And then it's all about your delivery.
Okay.
A playful smile, a wink,
Mm-hmm.
a lighthearted tone of voice. These can all help to signal that you're just joking.
So it's not just about the words themselves, it's about the whole vibe you're giving off.
Right.
It's like a secret code that only works if you know the handshake.
Exactly. Pull someone's leg is
Yeah.
a perfect example of how mastering idioms goes beyond just knowing the definition. You have to understand the cultural nuances
Yes.
and the unspoken rules of communication.
Great point.
Yeah.
Okay, to make sure we've really got a handle on all these awesome idioms,
Yeah.
let's try putting them into practice.
Yeah.
I was thinking we could role play a little scenario,
All right.
like we're having a real conversation. What do you think?
I'm game. Let's do it.
Okay, here's the scene. Two friends are catching up, and one of them has just quit their job.
Okay.
I'll be friend A, and you be friend of B.
Righty.
Ready when you are.
All right, here we go. Hey, I heard you quit your job. What happened? Don't leave me hanging.
Well, things were rough. My boss was a real piece of work, and I just couldn't keep my chin up anymore. I had to throw in the towel.
Wow, that's tough. But you know what? Sometimes those things are a blessing in disguise.
Yeah.
You never know what amazing opportunities might be waiting for you.
You're right. I'm trying to stay positive. For now, I'm just going to hit the ground running on my new project and see where it takes me. See, we just used a bunch of idioms supernaturally
Right.
without even thinking about it.
Exactly. That's how you know you're starting to really master them. They
Yeah.
become part of your everyday vocabulary.
So to our listener, imagine yourself in this situation. Could you see yourself using these idioms to express yourself?
Absolutely.
I bet you can.
The more you practice, the more confident you'll become. And pretty soon you'll be hitting the nail on the head with your idiom usage every time.
I love it. Well, I think we've covered a lot of ground today, explored some really useful idioms that can help you sound more fluent and confident in your English conversations.
Absolutely.
But before we go, I wanted to touch on one more idiom that I think is perfect
Okay.
for sparking conversations and getting people to open up.
Ooh, I'm intrigued. Which one is it?
It's a penny for your thoughts.
Yeah.
I love how simple and yet so effective this one is.
Yeah.
It's a gentle way of asking someone what they're thinking about, inviting them to share their inner world.
It's such a lovely expression, isn't it? It shows genuine interest in the other person.
Right.
And creates a space for them to share what's on their mind.
Exactly. And it's not literally about offering money, of course.
Yeah.
It's about acknowledging that someone's thoughts and feelings are valuable
Yes.
and worth listening to.
It's like saying, I'm curious about what's going on in that mind of yours. I'd love to hear your perspective.
It's a great way to build rapport and encourage deeper conversations. Now, speaking of deep conversations, I was thinking we could wrap up this deep dive
Okay.
with a final thought-provoking question for our listener. Something to really get them thinking
Okay.
about how they can apply these idioms to their own lives.
I love that idea. What do you have in mind?
Well, out of all the idioms we discussed today,
Okay.
which one resonated with you the most? And in what situation do you think you'll use it first?
That's a great question. It encourages our listener to not just passively absorb the information, but to actively think about how they can integrate these idioms.
Into their own communication style.
Exactly. Learning a language is all about making it your own.
Yeah.
Finding those expressions that really speak to you and using them to connect with others.
And remember, don't be afraid to experiment, to play with these idioms to make them your own.
Right.
That's how you truly master a language and make it come alive.
Beautifully said. Well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive into essential idioms.
Yes.
I hope you've enjoyed this journey as much as we have and that you're feeling inspired to go out there and use these idioms to boost your conversational fluency and connect with the world in a whole new way.
And as you continue on your language learning adventure, remember to embrace the process.
Right.
Have fun with it and never stop exploring the richness and beauty of the English language.
I think for me, it's a blessing in disguise. It's like such a good reminder that even when things go wrong,
Yeah.
something good can come out of it.
It's a great one to keep in mind, especially when you're feeling discouraged.
It helps you see the possibilities even in challenging situations.
Well, I think we really hit the nail on the head
Yeah.
with this deep dive into essential idioms. We've explored so many useful phrases,
We have.
and I feel like you, our listener, are well on your way to mastering them.
It's been a pleasure unpacking these idioms with you. They really are the key to unlocking a whole new level of fluency and expressiveness in English.
And remember, the best way to learn is just start using them.
Yeah.
Don't be afraid to experiment. Have fun with it.
Exactly.
And see how these idioms can enrich your everyday conversations.
The more you practice, the more natural they'll become.
Right.
And soon you'll be using them effortlessly without even thinking about it.
So to our listener, we hope this deep dive has been helpful and inspiring.
Absolutely.
Keep practicing, keep exploring, and most importantly, keep having fun with the English language.
And remember, as you go out there and try these idioms in the real world, if you ever need a refresher, we're always here for you. Just dive back into this episode and let those idioms fly.
Hey everyone, ready for today's deep dive? We're going to be tackling idioms, and I'm so excited.
Yeah, idioms. They can be tough to learn, but
They really do add, well, like color and personality to your English, you know? Like it's raining cats and dogs, but obviously there aren't actually any animals falling from the sky.
right. And that's what makes idioms so interesting. They go beyond just the literal meaning of the words. They can express feelings and like paint a picture in your mind.
Exactly. And once you understand them, using them confidently just makes you sound so much more natural. It's like you've leveled up your English.
It really is.
So today we're diving into 19 everyday English idioms to help you all sound more like a native speaker.
I can't wait to get started.
Okay, let's kick things off with a pretty simple idiom. A piece of cake. Now, I do love cake, but I have a feeling this isn't about dessert.
You're right. It's not about dessert. It just means that something is super easy to do, like, enjoying a piece of cake. It's a breeze.
So, like, that math problem was a piece of cake. Got it. But why cake? Is there a reason we use cake to express that something's easy?
Well, it's interesting, right? I mean, cake is like associated with celebrations and good times. It's enjoyable, so it makes sense that we'd use it to represent something pleasant and easy.
I guess that makes sense. Okay, next up is break a leg. Now, this one always sounds kind of ominous to me. Are we wishing someone an injury?
Haha. No, it's actually a way of wishing someone good luck, like right before a performance or a big event.
Oh, okay, good. But why would we use such a negative-sounding phrase?
Well, there are a few theories. One is that it comes from theatrical superstitions. Some say that if you bow to the audience after a good show, people might surge forward and you could, like, break a leg.
Huh. So it's like tempting fate in a way?
Maybe. But it's always meant to be encouraging, not a real threat.
Okay, so break a leg for good luck. I'm starting to see how idioms can add so much depth to our language.
They do. They're packed with cultural references and history, and sometimes a bit of humor, too.
Right. All right, on to the next one. Under the weather. This one always sounds a bit vague to me. Does it literally mean being caught in a storm?
Well, no, not literally. It just means you're not feeling well. Like maybe you have a cold or a headache.
So it's a polite way of saying you're a little sick without giving all the gory details.
Exactly. And, it's a common way to excuse yourself from something if you're not feeling up to it.
Right. I've definitely used that one myself. Now, what if you're under the weather and need to get some rest? Well, you might hit the sack early, but this makes me think of someone attacking their bed.
Uh-huh. Yeah, it's a funny image, isn't it? But it just means to go to bed.
Oh, okay. Much less violent than I imagined.
It's a pretty informal way of saying goodnight.
Got it.
Yeah.
So let's say you had a long day, you're feeling a little under the weather, and you're ready to hit the sack. But first, you might call it a day. Does that mean, like, giving the day a name?
No, not quite. Call it a day means to stop working on something, to wrap things up.
So you're done for the day.
Right. Whether it's work, school, or even just a personal project, you've put in the effort, now it's time to relax.
Makes sense. So we've just decoded 5 pretty common English idioms. How are you feeling? Ready to try some of these out?
Hopefully they're starting to feel a bit more familiar now.
Me too. But don't worry, we've got a whole bunch more to go. Next, we'll explore idioms you might hear when making plans or dealing with those sometimes awkward social situations. Stay tuned.
This is where things get really fun. Idioms can tell us a lot about a culture's social norms and how people interact.
I can't wait. Okay, let's jump into some idioms you might hear, well, when you're making plans or just, navigating those tricky social situations.
Right. These are the phrases that can really help you understand how people interact, the unspoken rules of communication.
Okay, I like that. First up is hang in there. It sounds like advice you'd give to someone hanging off a cliff, but...
Yeah, it does, doesn't it? But no cliffs involved.
Okay, good. So what does it really mean?
It means to stay strong, Don't give up, persevere. It's encouragement. Like you're telling someone they can get through a tough time.
So it's like a verbal pat on the back.
Exactly.
I like it. Now, for once in a blue moon, this one makes me think of like a rare astronomical event. Am I close?
You are. It means something that happens very rarely. Like, I only eat pizza once in a blue moon. It just emphasizes how infrequently you do something.
Oh, so it's about those rare treats or occurrences. Okay, got it. Okay, this next one sounds a bit, juicy. Spill the beans. Does this involve any actual beans?
Haha, no, unless we're talking about top secret recipes or something. Spill the beans means to reveal a secret.
Okay, so it's like letting information slip out.
Exactly, sometimes unintentionally, yeah.
So like, oops, I wasn't supposed to say that. Which brings us to let the cat out of the bag, which also seems to be about secrets.
Yeah, it is. It means the same thing. You've accidentally revealed a secret. It's just another way of saying, spill the beans.
So 2 ways to say the same thing. I'll try not to get them mixed up. Now, this one sounds kind of dramatic. Cost an arm and a leg? Are we like talking about pirate negotiations here?
No pirates. It just means that something is really, really expensive.
Oh, so it's a way of expressing like shock at a high price. Like, that car costs an arm and a leg.
Right, a much more colorful way of saying that something's too expensive.
I like it. Okay, I'm feeling more confident about navigating these social situations with these idioms. But what about like those phrases we use in everyday conversations? The ones that just kind of pop up all the time.
Yeah, those are the idioms that you really start using without even thinking about it. Like second nature, they're everywhere.
Okay, let's hit the books and explore those. Does this one mean to actually throw books around?
Only if you're really frustrated with your studies.
Okay, good. So what does it really mean?
It just means to study, to focus on your schoolwork.
A more exciting way to say study, I guess. Okay, now for a pretty simple one, take it easy. Is it really as straightforward as it sounds?
Pretty much. It means to relax, don't get stressed. It's like, chill out, don't take things too seriously.
Good advice. Okay, next. The ball is in your court. Are we playing tennis now?
Sort of. It means it's your turn to make a decision or take action. You have the responsibility to move things forward.
So if someone says the ball is in your court, they're waiting for me to respond.
Exactly. They've done their part. Now it's up to you.
Okay, I get it. Now for one that doesn't sound too pleasant, bite the bullet.
Yeah, not the most pleasant image.
So what does it mean?
It means to do something difficult or unpleasant that you've been avoiding, like facing a challenge head on.
Oh, so like just do it, even if you don't want to. Okay, I can handle that. And last one for this section, feeling blue. Is this like a fashion choice?
No. It means feeling sad or depressed.
Okay, so it's a way of expressing sadness.
Exactly, like I'm feeling a bit blue today.
All right, we've covered a lot of ground here with these everyday idioms. I'm starting to feel like I could actually use these without sounding like a total weirdo.
That's the goal. The more you use them, the more natural they'll become.
You're right. Okay, are you ready for the final challenge?
Absolutely.
Let's explore some idioms that are perfect for, ending a conversation smoothly. Those graceful exits can be tricky sometimes.
They can, but a well-placed idiom can definitely help.
Okay, so graceful exits. I'm ready to master the art of saying goodbye smoothly.
It is an art, isn't it? Let's see if these idioms can help.
Perfect.
Okay, how about this one? Pull someone's leg. Sounds a bit mischievous, right?
Yeah, it does. Like I'm imagining someone literally pulling on someone's leg as a joke.
Well, it's not quite that literal. It just means to joke with someone. In a playful way, to tease a bit.
Oh, so like if someone tells a story that's hard to believe, you could say, "Are you pulling my leg?"
Exactly, you're catching on quickly.
I'm trying. Okay, what about keep an eye on? Does that mean like I'm spying on someone?
Well, not necessarily spying. It just means to watch over something or someone carefully.
So it could be literal, like can you keep an eye on my stuff?
Right.
Or more figurative.
Right. Like keep an eye on that situation. It just means to pay attention.
Okay, got it. Now let's say I'm ready to hit the road. Does that mean I'm going on a road trip?
Not necessarily, though it would be fun. It just means to leave, to depart.
Oh, so it's a more casual way of saying goodbye.
Exactly. Time to hit the road.
All right, last idiom for today. No pain, no gain. I feel like this one's about, like, working out, pushing yourself at the gym.
You're right. It often is used in that context. But it really means that, to achieve something, you have to put in the effort. There's going to be some struggle involved.
So it's not just physical pain. It can be any kind of challenge.
Right. If you want to reach your goals, sometimes you have to push through some discomfort.
I like that. It's motivating. Well, we've learned a lot today. 19 idioms in total, right?
That's right. A whole arsenal of new expressions.
I have to say, I feel a lot more confident about using these in my own conversations.
That's fantastic. That's what we wanted to achieve. Language is about expressing yourself and connecting with others.
Absolutely. And idioms can really help with that.
They really can. What did you find most interesting about today's deep dive?
I think what really stood out to me is how much history and culture are packed into these seemingly simple phrases.
That's so true. They're like little windows into how people think and communicate.
Exactly. And using them correctly can make you sound more natural and fluent.
Definitely. So keep practicing, keep exploring, and have fun with these idioms.
I will. Thanks for joining me on this deep dive.
It was my pleasure.
That's all for today, everyone. Thanks for listening.